in the new cover story for The Atlantic titled The Overprotected Kid, Hanna Rosin says parents are harming their child's independence and perhaps intelligence in the name of keeping them safe. Good morning, Hanna.
Good morning.
This is such a fascinating article for a lot of reasons. How are kids too overprotected?
We are just preoccupied with safety. We conceive of our job as parents as protecting our children. So playgrounds have been transformed over the last 30 years to be extremely safe, rubber padding, don't go too high. So kids don't have a sense that they're experiencing anything challenging that they can then overcome.
And I thought this was isolated because when we lived in Washington too, the school in our neighborhood, the swing sets disappeared and we were told because of lawsuits. But in fact, it's someone who started this trend of suing, right?
Yes, it's been nationwide. It's been happening for 30 or 40 years. It started with a lawsuit culture. And over the years, the playgrounds have just become more and more and more boring.
And the results are scientific about creativity in children.
Right.
It's down, right?
Yeah, basically, you need to feel like you're taking risks and overcoming challenges as a child in order to grow. And that essential part of childhood we've made go away. I mean, by protecting them from any sense of not just physical harm, but also emotional harm. We think of ourselves as, my job as a parent is to keep my child safe and happy all the time.
One of the great regrets of my life is I'm not a parent and can't speak to this as well as others can, but I have a lot of kids and godchildren, and I love playing with them. And in some cases, they seem to just love the engagement, and yet at the same time, you know, I wonder if parents are worried about them, and you see that concern. And it just seems to me to be, if you unleash all of their energy and creativity, it's an incentive for a lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, children are just always watched these days. And one thing I talk about in the article is the stranger danger idea.
Right.
You know, we have this sense that children are in great harm whenever they walk down the street. You know what? It's just not true. You have no greater chance of being abducted.
Yes, it is. That's how I feel. Yes, it is.
I know. This is the thing I'm afraid to bring out of my mouth because all the parents would say, are you crazy? If my kid goes out of my sight, they'll be abducted immediately. I mean, my mother said it to me yesterday when she read the story. And I thought, but you know what? They won't. Statistically, they won't. They have no greater chance now than they did in the 70s of being abducted by a stranger. That's a freakish occurrence that almost never happens.
It is. There is a difference. I think I remember, I know you do, and Charlie, you've talked about it, where you were gone for hours. Your parents didn't know where you were when you were under the age of 10. That's some of what I talk about, these films in the 70s of these kids off in the woods for 3 or 4 hours.
That was me. I lived in a small town, and it was just, you just wandered. I mean, it was great.
Yeah.
You know, nobody was constantly, surveilling you.
Yeah, how did you play?
And thank God for that.
Exactly.
I mean, how did you play sports? You went to the baseball field. People just sort of showed up at the field. You set up a game, and then that's how I played sports when I was a kid. And now it's like your mom drives you to the soccer game.
It's the independence and self-reliance that you develop.
Yeah, and I think, there is a consequence. That's what this story is designed to tell you. It's not just nothing. We are actually doing damage to the kids and making it difficult for them to grow up.
So what is the suggestion about how to fix that?
I think on an individual level, it's reconceiving our role as parents is not to protect necessarily, but to create opportunities for growth and development. Just think of yourself as doing that instead of keeping them safe from harm all the time. So in individual moments, opportunities will arise to let them do things which make them feel like they're experimenting or taking risks, even if they're actually not.
Right.
And on an institutional level, maybe we can arrange things around schools to let them walk alone.
Anna, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.